up, peeps? Joe Roberts, 1WineDude.com. I'm just going to sip a little bit of coffee here. Yeah, no, it's too early today. No wine, sorry. All right, so I wanted to take a quick moment today and explain why the argument against wine producers using social media, especially smaller producers, is actually totally illogical. And I keep hearing this. I'm still hearing it, especially from smaller producers that either, look, we're farmers, we don't have time to get into social media, or we don't see the payoff, or it's just a fad. And so if you think it's a fad, I'm going to hit that one first. You have to ask yourself if Microsoft Windows is a fad, or if, like, the iPhone, look at this, got one. If the iPhone app marketplace is a fad. The reason I bring those up is because of a concept called positive network externalities. And make a long story short with that, what it essentially means is when a network like Microsoft Windows user base or the iPhone user base or Facebook or Twitter, when it gets big enough, there's enough added value that it actually incents more people to join the network. It's also called the network effect. The telephone is another classic example. So if you have a phone, the more people that have phones, the more people you can call, the more valuable it is, the more people want phones, and it feeds on itself. We're in that situation now. I mean, you look at Microsoft Windows, you look at the app market for iPhones. The application market on those platforms actually incents people to join that platform. So to buy a Windows computer because they can get a bunch of apps for it, or to buy an iPhone because they can get a bunch of apps for it. Even yes, I know the apps are like Angry Birds or whatever, but look, Angry Birds sometimes comes with advertisements in it, okay? And that's speaking to that huge audience. Well, another thing where this effect comes into play is in something like Facebook and Twitter, and social networks actually behave that way. So the key in terms of the value add in those situations, though, is not applications, okay? It's information and engagement. It's interaction. So on Facebook, the cool thing is not that you found your best friend from third grade. The cool thing is that you found your best friend from third grade and you contacted her and she actually responded to you and you struck up another conversation and rekindled that relationship. That's what's so freaking cool about it. That incents more people to join. More of those experiences happen, and it feeds on itself, gets bigger and bigger. So that's where fish are, okay? And they are talking about wine, okay? And they are chatting about wine in these situations. Now, that's, to me, the primary piece of the argument against saying social media doesn't work if your brand is a certain size, etc. There are other pieces to it, okay? One is a piece of news that recently came out about farm workers using social media to sell their products to local markets. Okay, so I'll get into that in a second and actually show you that. Okay, the other is that the tools for monitoring what's being said about your brand online and actually helping you get a better sense of how to use tools like Facebook and Twitter. So the tools that help you with the tools. A lot of times they're free and they're accessing data that you can actually turn into useful information. It costs you nothing. And Groovy is a great example of that. Groovy can actually help you get into Facebook and get your wine information in there in a format that they know people will respond to. And I'll get into that in a second too on the screen. Show you some screen prints, etc. So to me, that's, this argument, when you think about it, the fact that saying it's a fad doesn't really stack up against how those things work scientifically. Saying that you don't have the time or expense doesn't really work because it doesn't actually take that much time and takes very little expense. Okay, and the third is that, well, I'm a farm worker. This just isn't for me. Well, if you're looking at what other farm workers are doing, selling their products even to a smaller local base, right? Not even trying to reach out nationally, trying to reach out locally and having social media work for them. I just don't see it. It just doesn't work for me. Logically, I don't get it. Anyway, to the screen. So you think you're an ag, wine, small producer, you're thinking, I don't have time for social media. This thing's not for me. Check out a recent article in USA Today Money by Jennifer Justice for the Tennessean. Social media connect farmers with local customers. So here you go. You've got farmers. Okay, it's pretty close to what we're doing in wine here, and they're using social media to help sell their products locally. And one of the quotes you got from here, I guess the most important thing is getting customers connected with our product. Not only are the social media tools that you use to interact with your customers and potential customers free, but a lot of the tools that help you analyze what's going on about your brand online, or help you get the most out of tools like Facebook and Twitter, they're also free. One example is Groovy. I don't work for these guys. They don't pay me, but I really like what they're doing, so I wanted to highlight them here. Groovy will actually help you get your info about your products into Facebook. So if you create a Facebook page, you can get a consistent view of your wine and some stats on how people are interacting with that stuff online. And you can get that right from the tool. And here's an example with modus operandi. And what you can also do with Groovy is actually monitor what people are saying about your brand. Now I'm just going to type in 1WineDude, my brand, and click go right on the Groovy homepage. Right? And what we're going to get is some stats on reactions to my brand on my blog, on Twitter, on forums, right? On other media. I mean, this is pretty cool. I actually use this from time to time, kind of to see what's going on just around the 1WineDude brand. So you can imagine how that might play out for your wine brand online. So there you have it, wine brand peeps. Hopefully there's some bit of useful information there for you. I'm going to leave you with this. I am ready for some football.